about the forced removals, and I think people want us so often to just move away from this thing, apartheid, let's forget. But in 1956, something terrible happened to people of color.
True.
And Manenberg was one of those areas that was formed out of that pain, that blood, that tears, that death, because some people died. Tell us about Manenberg specifically out of all of the areas. 1956, people wake up one morning and they bulldoze to get out of these spaces and they are dumped here. And this is what it looked like. This is what it still looks like.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like the oppressor was brilliant architects, no? They knew what they wanted to do.
Yes.
And the effect of apartheid wasn't in the apartheid era.
Come on.
It's now.
Come on. I think you should say it again.
You know, the effect of the apartheid is not, it didn't happen in the apartheid era. So we were segregated, so we weren't allowed to do certain things. But right now, when we perceive to be a free nation, we are oppressed.
We are oppressed.
We're still living within a system that the apartheid system has designed. I've always said that police, right? The police are the biggest gangsters around. You know why? The way they trained has never changed. They're trained to be violent.
They are trained to be violent. They're trained to be the commander. They're trained for us to fear them. And so that when they shout for the army, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I hate it because, you know, firstly, if people are shouting for the army, it says that our law enforcement, those that has been given the mandate to keep the law within our communities, has failed.
Yes.
And now you're asking for our protective services, those that need to protect the country, to come and do law enforcement. Right? So it doesn't make sense.
Makes sense.
Right? And then when the army comes into our communities, Tarryn, they hit everyone. They don't distinguish between who's who. You're a gangster, you're not a gangster, because it is basically a state of emergency, right? When the army comes in, they give you a curfew from which you need to be on the streets, and if you're not at the house, hulle vra en hulle klap jou.
And so it's again, we are then perpetuating that cycle of violence and trauma. You treat someone like an animal, and then they will perform like an animal.
I've always said that. No? It's what the oppressor does.
And so I want to say this, and we're going to discuss this a little bit later inside. We are so quick, Johnathan, to address and react to the gangster, the substance, the GBV, but there's a psyche of our people that needs healing. The mind that needs healing. And so, good morning. Good morning. And so I want us to go inside and look at the program that you're doing in Manenberg. I see the little ones coming in. Tell us about that.
So we're establishing again our play groups on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and those are for kids like them that the parents can afford them to put them in a creche. Now we know that grade R has now become compulsory.
Yes.
No? And the reason for that is the foundation phase of education. Is the time when the kids learn the most.
Yes.
And these kids running around, they don't know colors, they don't know shapes, they don't know, you know, the basic things. So when they go to school, they struggle. It's also proven that if you haven't gone to creche or an ECD or grade R, you'll fail. You drop out of school before grade 7.
And then we have a problem where we say, is it grade 5, that our children cannot read
Not
the
just
meaning.
Wait, Tarryn, no? We've done a Nali Bali program last year. Grade 8 to grade 10 cannot read. They read to the grade 3 level.
And so that is the problem, because the foundation phases of a child in Manenberg also proves that we are still so unequal. Johnathan Jansen, we're back. I want to take the conversation back to earlier, or summarize what we've spoken about. We spoke about the gang culture and the economic capital it provides for areas like Manenberg. I worked in Manenberg many years ago, and when I was doing my thesis, I found something so shocking, that houses, the livelihoods of houses range anything from 900 Rand per month to 4,000 rand, made up specifically of social grants.
Social grants.
And the child support grant, then it was 280 rand. We had young girls using the child support grant as a form of economic income. Tell us about the economic infrastructure from someone from Manenberg.
Yeah. So people ask me why I cook, but I can take you to my cupboard, and there's food there for the next 3 weeks.
Sure.
Right? The reality for those kids is not. It is not the reality.
Sure.
Right? And then the reality that you spoke about now, where houses are dependent on child grant, there's a child here that I won't point to.
Yes.
They don't get child grant because it's not registered, so they can't. And then she's in a house where all her siblings don't have birth certificates.
And that is such a common problem.
Yeah.
I work in Imizamahetu. Kids, but they're mostly from the Eastern Cape, are not registered. But here we have kids in Cape Town. Is Home Affairs not at the hospitals?
No,
what is the
everything.
issue?
I mean, I think it is. It's a combination of issues, right? Either, sometimes Home Affairs should be there, but they may be late, and so parents don't wait because also the people don't want to wait. Other times people just lackadaisy, and then so the child grant is put in place to make sure that at least, parents can look at the basic needs, a little bit of nutrition, making sure that there's electricity in that. Now in a house where there isn't that, now something else fills that gap.
Sure.
Right? Now, if a child grant right now is 570 around there.
Okay.
I stand corrected now. If a child grant is 570 a month, right now a corner runner can earn 1,400 rand.
So I want you to speak to someone that doesn't know jargon, doesn't know street language, but as a corner runner.
Someone is selling drugs on the corner, or someone that is looking out for the police on the corner. So there's two terms. So the one is selling, the other one is the lookout.
Yes.
Both of them can earn 1,400 rand a week.
So, without going into deep in terms of the gang culture, if we are to offer a young man, 18-year-old from the Cape Flats, a job where he earns at least 5,000 rand a month, do you think that could deter him from?
Definitely. And that's why we as Love Out Loud, we know that we cannot change the world, right?
Yes.
But we're about creating opportunities, right? And then if you are grabbing that opportunity, we're willing to pull you along, because some of them needs us to be dragged, no? And so right now we're offering free CVs. Now a CV costs you 20 rand to go print.
Yes.
And then you need to go and throw it in somewhere.
Yes.
Now a 20 rand in a household where a bread now is 15 rand. So someone needs to eat bread. Do I pay 20 rand for the CV, or I
get the bread?
Bread. Then the bread takes priority. No? So we're offering free CVs right now for young people between 18 and 26, right? Two printed ones and a digital copy, right? So that you can go and find employment, right? We're trying to remove some of the obstacles.
And there are many.
There's many obstacles, many. And that is just one, to try and look at, if we can fill the gap, because right now the gap, that guy, he doesn't care, right? He wants his drug sold. So he doesn't care if you stay out of school, or if the police arrest your parents. He doesn't care. If you get arrested, another one will fill that space,
absolutely.
right? And so we're trying to create that opportunity to make sure that young people find employment. The chairperson has already also engaged with SPA. We've been speaking with quite a few other people to look at, can we find placements, even if it's just small-term placements, so that, people are looking for people with experience. And I find it ridiculous that you need a young person to come and look for a job, but he needs to have work experience.
Wow, yes.
So that's why we're looking, and we're asking around, anyone that can offer jobs. Listen, we've got a few young people.
So I am really very interested in the space. You spoke earlier about grab. We need to grab them, we need to capture them, we need to create safety nets, we need to incubate them. Because some of our children, our young people, even adults, we've seen a lot of what we're reacting to is just little boys that is being wounded. And so the word grab, I love the space. I think I've been part of your cries in the beginning when it was just looking for cement and looking for this. Tell us about Love Out Loud, transforming the minds of younger generation to be the best version of themselves. We are here, you are cooking, it looks like it's an holistic ecosystem.
Look, we're trying to do a little bit of everything because the issues are complex issues. It is not just one. No? It is not just the fact that they are hungry. It's not just the fact that they're not in school. It's not just the fact that there's no work. It is a combination of things. And so if we are naive to say, no, if we just feed their values, they'll be okay, the reality is not true. No? Because, and I'm using that word drag them along because, our children sadly are not taught right and wrong. And so they perceive sometimes that they are wrong, but most of the times they don't know that they're doing wrong. And so therefore we need to drag them along and then almost, force instill some of those values because it's not instilled at home.
In the home. And I love what you're saying. Opportunity, we need to present them with the opportunity. We love saying that it's choices, but if you don't present an alternative choice, do they know about the choice that we're speaking about?
Gangsterism is not a choice for young people in this community. They're born into gangsterism. Drug addiction is not a choice in this community. They're born into that because, you live in a house where 7 people live in this house. 5 of that people are using drugs. And none of them are instilling any positive values. By the time that they become 10, 11, 12, they've already been using dacha. They are now experimenting with tik or whatever. Now, do you tell me that was a choice? Your son has choices. Your son goes to school and can choose if he wants to play soccer, if he can play basketball. He has a choice that what he wants to eat today. Choices here is not,
And that, I think it's something that I'm so passionate about, Johnathan. The fact that we say that there is a choice of what school you go to, there's a choice to where you stay, there's a choice to what sporting code. We are here with about 6 children and it's still early, there's more coming. That is supposed to be in an ECD. Early childhood development. And then we wonder why they cannot compete with someone that comes from the leafy suburbs. Why their matric results is not on par. Yet we do have the few and far between that has shown us in Manenberg that they can actually get a distinction. I want to speak a little bit about some years ago. I worked in Manenberg and I was working in a schools program and I was working with the late Mr. Brown. He spoke about a house in Manenberg that has 20 people living in. And I'm sure you know, but do you know that people they have slots to sleep. Where to sleep, Johnathan? He says, so Tarryn, how do I expect that child to perform at school the next day?
Where do they do their homework? Where do they find privacy for themselves? I mentored a young boy, and the Saturday we were going out. They were 20 in the house, and he slept. That morning he slept at the door so that he didn't need to step over 20 bodies to get to me. So that's the reality. And so this space was a space to be used as a resource for that, where young people can come and find quiet space to do homework. We've got free internet. We've print anything free. Anything pertaining to school, you need to print for assignment, you need to study for anything around it is free for the child. Anything. You come here, I need to use a computer, it's free. If you don't need to go to the library and print for an assignment, it's R1. Right? Now that is the kinders, right? So we carry that cost. As long as it is for the school, it's free. And that again is removing obstacles so that, they can they grab opportunities that put in front of them.
Grab.
Yeah.
Love out loud, really making love so tangible in Manenberg. I think I want to speak about, there's so many facets that we have to touch on, and we just don't have the time, and we're definitely going to come back. But I want to speak about two more things. I spoke to someone, a politician 2 weeks ago, and he was speaking specifically about Lavender Hill. If that's all I smell, and that's all I feel, and that's all I see, how is a young girl or a young boy going to dream beyond the architecture and the infrastructure of Manenberg? Johnathan Jansen, how am I going to help that little Amy sitting on the floor dream bigger than this space?
Yeah.
What is the hope that there is still for the little Amy's?
Yeah. I think that community activists find themselves too often complaining and doing nothing.
Sure.
Right? Now we don't, I'm not saying that we've got lots. We have nothing, right? But I think if we are able to just do the little bits for the little Amy, right? Wow. Creating the space for her to come and watch Peppa Pig. In the corner there's a box of books that they'll be later reading,
sure.
Right? That's fine, right? And then you can argue with those that needed to do this while you are doing it. But for the time that you are continuously arguing and nothing's happening, Amy has now already been raped. Amy has now have a boyfriend in the gang.
Amy's
and so
the
and then again, then Amy carries the responsibility of the blame.
Sure. Wow, Johnathan. So, at the forefront of all of this, there's an ecosystem that needs to be changed, right? And holistic community development is what is needed, because we now need to plug in. But I know the legacy of Manenberg is we speak collaboration, but do people really collaborate?
Yeah.
We need someone to look at the Amy, the ECD facet. Yeah. We need to look at Amy and speak about the education facet. Yeah. We need to speak about Amy's mom, Amy's dad, all the siblings. Yeah. As over the years, the culture of fighting and politics and the lack of collaboration in what is not a very big community, has it changed over the years, Johnathan?
No, it's not. That's a sad reality, no? We build on, we value collaboration, because at no point can no one ever claim to be or have the answer to the issue, right? So you cannot say, nah, what we are doing is, no, you can't. There's someone else that is doing housing that can be pulled in. There's someone else that is doing education that can be pulled in. My chairperson always says, if we cannot do karate, we've got a bucket and we can transfer them to the karate class.
Come on.
If we,
I love that.
So it doesn't require us to do all of that. But sadly, people feel, no, they want to be, ek wil die bravies man.
Yeah.
Ek wil die Johnathan is, nah, ek wil bra. I'm happy to step aside if someone else needs to be able to do that, right?
And I remember some years ago, we started the Sustainable Livelihoods program, and then there was funding.
Yeah.
And then everyone was cooking.
Yeah.
And now you're like, then you get the proposal, and then you see they want a pot because they're cooking for 350 people. No vra ons.
No, waar is die ander pot?
Waar is die pot? And so there was this mushrooming, and we're saying, if feeding is what you do it well, and know everything about poverty and hunger. If substance abuse is what you do, be the expert in that.
Quite.
If youth development is what you do, be the expert in that. And then we bring all of it together, and then we create a functioning ecosystem, because ultimately it is about reducing. True. It's about increasing.
And because the issues are complex, man. Exactly, multifaceted, multi-layered, you can at no point, talk only about what you are doing, right? And that's why I say that the space has been created for children and young people, but by accident quite a few other things happen. So by accident right now we're creating space for child grant and and pension applications. In addition to that, right now an additional person is coming in to assist with rebates on their rates, helping with wills and all of that. Now, we're not saying that no to that, because no, it's not for young people, because it's what the need of the community is, and the space is there.
And right? So you're saying, Johnathan, that organically the advice offices is opening again, but in a new look and shape and feel. So, two more things. There is this narrative that colored people is lazy. I mean, some years back, I came down Stormsrivier, I'll always make that example, en ek sien ledigheid, die wat staan, man staan, young mense in gowns. Are we grabbing those opportunities quick enough? Are we just saying that everyone else is taking the opportunities? Are our people queuing at the UWCs? Are we getting into the NASFAS? Tell me, what is your opinion about the psyche, employment, grants?
Look, I think, I mean, it should never be linked to a race, because everywhere we find lazy people.
Yes.
Everywhere we find people that just do not want to work. They do not want to go to school. You can go to Gooks, you can go to Constanza. You'll find someone there that just doesn't want to work, right? Now, sadly, the reality is this, that Manenberg is overcrowded. So when you drive through the community, you see a lot more people on the streets. And so you assuming, die mense staan in die ronde, daar is 'n plek in die huisie. No, where do they stand? In lockdown, and at first 21 days, there was no lockdown in Manenberg, not because people didn't want to be inside. Where do you stay? 20 people in the house. We saw in lockdown across the country, we saw the increase of GBV.
Because also now we forced people to be in the same space. We saw substance abuse increasing, trauma, violence, and
yeah. So sure, we find a lot of unemployment. But if you ask anyone, they'll say, "I want to work." The reality is that they don't have access to those type of things, right? Access denied. Right? Or we have people hoarding information. No? So they've been told there's an opportunity. They don't see that opportunity. Nou kom ek en ek vra, I go to matriculants and ask them about the fact that another friend of mine, the Thomas Susan Block Foundation, is assisting young people with NASFAS.
Yes.
They don't know
about it, and yet we know. I mean, they started at the wetlands.
At wetlands,
years ago.
right? Keith has been doing that, and now we're trying to bring him here.
Yes.
Right, that is closer.
We
right?
started.
Yeah. So that young people have access to it, right?
Then I want us to pause right there, Johnathan Jansen from Love Out Loud, and just touch on the word access. We love speaking about choices. We love saying that there's opportunities for people of color, but there's a word called access, and then there's a bridge and helping them get to that access.
Exactly. Because at university, entry requirement is now 70%, but UCT, you need to write a benchmark test. You could have had 80%, you're still going to need to write a benchmark test to get in. Gaan ons leiders dit maak?
Sure.
If they are passing with 30% matric, will they make the benchmark test? Sure. Never. So again, the benchmark test is designed for access denied.
Wow.
It's designed to keep
people of color out of the system. And I said that last week. I said we have these amazing schools in the southern suburbs. But how are we going to afford the 10,000 rands a month? It is saying that it's actually still for a specific class of people.
Definitely.
And so at the core of this, Johnathan, is the issue called social justice. And we don't want to touch on that. We all feed because feed is a need. If we don't feed, our people are going to die.
Yeah.
We all want to speak about substance abuse and tak is in overflow.
Yeah.
We all want to speak about gender-based violence and how evil our men are, but we don't want to speak about the root causes. I want you to touch on the issue of social justice, and I know we spoke about it earlier in the interview. But I've met a 10-year-old from Manenberg Park who is a hitman. How did we create that? And how do we link it with issues of social justice? Because this architecture is going nowhere in the next 40 years. What are we to do? Are we to tear down this space that has been built on blood, that has been built on hardship and trauma, so that we don't create another 10-year-old hitman? Because we don't want to speak about policy reform, we don't want to speak about institutions, like you're saying, that is still denying access.
Look, I think, people is the core of what we do.
Yes.
It's our product.
Yes.
It's why we exist.
Yes.
I get up in the morning because they'll be at my door.
Yes.
And the reality of where they come from and what they've exposed to. No? That often a 6-year-old has seen so much that they're almost an adult.
That a typical 6-year-old from the leafy suburbs has not seen.
Now, the leafy suburb 6-year-old can read.
Sure.
And can read Harry Potter easily.
Yes.
No? But here, this 6-year-old can tell you the difference between 3 different dacha plants.
Sure.
Right? This 6-year-old can tell you sexual positions because they are seeing their parents
Exposed.
Because is what it is,
Where do the parents get the privacy to do so?
So it happens, and the children is awake or whatever, right? Now, for us, and that's why I'm hammering on the let's do, man. Let's stop talking.
Yes.
No? There's a lot that we can do, and then let's. Craig Stewart always introduced me to the term. Let's build a plane while we are flying.
Wow.
Let's build this plane while we are flying, because along the way we'll find different things.
Sure.
And we'll pick up different people that is able to do different things. So there's 2 things that we are hoping to do within the space, right? This is one, creating a bridge course for grade 9s, right? For young people that's dropped out of school, similar to me, I've got a grade 7 education. I've got lots of other informal education spaces, but formally, I passed grade 7 and that's it, right? Now, if I was just a young person out there, I would not be able to access any FET programs or nothing, because you need to have grade 9, right? So, Love Out Loud is hoping to start a grade 9 bridge course, so that we can guarantee that young person at least a grade 9 certificate, so that then he can go to the FET. Again, just create an opportunity. If he grabs the opportunity after that, that's his, right? From there, we are realizing that some young people will never be able to do grade 9 because they just not, the reading is far off. They aren't able to write, but they are skilled. So we are hoping to design a skills program with 5 skills: carpentry, electrical, welding, upholstery, and auto mechanics. Right? Again, creating an opportunity. Once you are done with that, then whatever you do with that, if you are using that opportunity,
there's something in
there's
your
something
hands
because
now.
Right, so the injustice out there is be taken away the humanity of people,
the dignity,
of people. So the Amy that you speak about in Lavendale, right? Blindly just walking around in Lavendale, not sure which side the suit is going to be. I used to grow up in Tiny Court, right in the middle of where the shooting used to be, right? On the on the sports ground next to the church. I used to play soccer there, right? So I know the context of what's, and Lavendale and Manenberg is very close. It's the one of the most common communities. You know why? It's the most compacted.
Most condensed. I mean, it was 30,000 then. It's way more now than 30,000.
Manenberg, the census says it's about 80,000. It's a lie.
No.
It's more than 150,000 people in Manenberg alone, right? In Lavendale, the same, because Lavendale's got a lot of those 3-story flats, which has got 48 homes in the flat, and an average about 15 people per home.
Sure.
No?
And that is not what the census says.
The census says that. You know why the census? The census only counts active people. People that is actively looking for employment or actively in school.
And it doesn't speak about the backyard dwellers.
It doesn't. So now, hier by ons, we've got the house, dan is daar 3 hokke agter in die yard en 2 hokke voor. Right? So an average of in the house mainly, there will be 10 people. And then 5, 5, 5.
Sure.
25 people. But the census doesn't count that. So the census only counts the ma en die pa en die broer wat werk, And
sure.
so what we, in terms of, fighting social justice is helping bring humanity back, right? We're embarrassed of being poor.
Oh.
We're embarrassed of, people are saying sorry for things that they should never say sorry for, right?
It almost feels, when you get the sorry, it feels almost like they are undermining you. I feel almost like still it's a top-down thing. Please don't say sorry for something you don't even know. You don't know the experience. You don't know the feet. You don't know the shoes. Johnathan Jansen, we have to close. But I want to say this. I think I need to say this. Substance abuse, gender-based violence, a very angry boy, a very angry man, armoedig, poverty. The drains are messy, die plek is vuil. It doesn't look like there's hope. But every day there's a Johnathan Jansen standing and stirring the pot. Because we are tired of our story, we are tired of our narrative. We are tired of being embarrassed. And so at the heart of all of that is love. Because you cannot do what you do every day motivated by nothing. It is love that holds that. It's love on the bridge. And so we see that and we want to acknowledge that. Today's episode specifically was about ordinary people doing extraordinary work. Because that is the type of people that is needed right now. It's not going to be the politicians that is going to turn this trajectory around. It's going to be ordinary citizens like you and your board. And so we want to thank you, and not say thank you in a condescending way, just saying thank you for holding our people. Thank you for creating a safety net. While the policy change and we're fighting for transformation, thank you for being that space, that safe space, to say, come and sit here with me. Ek weet het gaan swaar, but there's hope. And so in closing, I want you to speak to the other Johnathan out there that has only got a grade 7. The person on the street that is hungry, that is thinking like, ek gaan dala man, I'm going to go steal that thing today because my ma hou dik as niks in die pot nie. I want you to say something, something prophetic perhaps.
You know what? My most prophetic word is, if you are alive, there's so much opportunity. You're not dead yet. Death is the end of it. Say leaving off. And sure, it gets difficult sometimes, and difficulty forces us to make weird decisions, right? But if you are able to make a wrong decision, you are also able to make a right decision, right? And the more you make right decisions, the more comfortable you are becoming with that. And then, you know, just do. Just do, right? You might, for those people that is trying to do something good, just try and do something, right? And if you aren't able to, go and find someone in your community that can do it. And then you go and help. You go figure out what that means, right? My chairperson likes to go around with me, and he learns a lot. But he's not the Johnathan. He's not the guy that's going to stand behind the pot. But then he's the guy that's constantly coming with, ek het pak reis gekry, ek het brood gekry, you know, because at the times as he was moving with me, he's able to see things and do things that he would have never, no? So you are there, you are out there, and you can do the same. It doesn't take a lot, right?
And I love that, Johnathan. You don't all have to be a Mr. Walker. You don't all have to be a Johnathan. There's space for all of us. God has given us all that specific skills, specific talents. And we want to ask you, fund Love Out Loud. It's not funded formally. Come and support if you are from Manenberg. You've left Manenberg. Someone said, stay a little bit longer. And that doesn't mean you don't have to leave. But stay a little bit longer means plow back. Keep giving.
Or just look around. Look back.
Look around. We need more doctors from this space. We need more dentists from this space. We need more entrepreneurs from this space. Hairdressers that has come and has grown here. Come and plow back into Manenberg. So thank you very much, Johnathan Jansen. What a privilege it is to be back here. We are rooting for you. We are behind you. One young person at a time, one Amy at a time.
One Amy at a time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.